Welcome, everyone, to the Pat Mayo experience, where there's the first that we're doing for the Underdog PGA Best Ball Draftathon. I'm going to have a bunch of guests on. We're going to do some drafts. Maybe if you're hanging out in the chat, maybe we'll get on and we'll do a draft together. Who knows how this is going to go? It's freewheeling. It's live. If you're listening to this after the fact, Spotify video might be helpful with all the visual aids, but we're going to try to construct this that you can listen to an audio podcast as well by announcing the picks and the decisions that we're going to make. At first, I'm going to go through some of the guys that I'm targeting a little bit later. We're going to review some drafts that I've done already and show you the difference that I've encountered so far between doing my actual drafts on Underdog in person versus uploading the CSV or doing my rankings within the system, just to see how those two teams have come out. Here's a spoiler. The teams that I have auto-drafted are not very good, and that's what I've noticed versus a lot of the field, that if you end up in a draft with 3 real-life players drafting and 3 auto drafts where the rankings are set, they can get exploited pretty easily. They end up with great projections on their teams, but they're very unlikely to escape round 1 because they just do not have critical spots filled. Now, if you're looking for all that we've done so far, there's podcasts up already, there's videos up already on Mayo Media Network. So please, sub to the channel. And if you are subbed, that means you can participate in the live chat. Set on the notifications in case we decide to do this again. My Michael Kim interview is now coming out on Monday. It is terrific, and I got some fun stuff that I ended up asking, including what happens if Brooks comes back. Should Brooks be able to come back to the PGA Tour? It's me and Mike for like 2 hours. It's a lot of fun, his goals, and even told him he's a top 10 fantasy pick, and he told me that was a terrible idea. But hey, here we are. Once I explained to him the rules of how this works, he was much more satisfied with him being the top 10 pick because he's just playing so much. So we're going to break down some strategy, review some drafts, and I do have some updates to my rankings that I'm going to go over during the course of the show, because I've done 25 of these drafts now, and stuff changes once you're in it, you're in the weeds, and you're figuring out how these drafts actually work. So I've tried to tailor my rankings a little bit to tiers of players, and I'll explain that as we go along. All of that, and if you do want to follow along with the rankings or read about the strategy, find it all for free at betspertsgolf.com right now. All right, let's go.
At Mayo Experience.
And almost Jared on that quick cut. Jared, are you there? Jared muted himself. I think Byron's on the line, though. The Model Maniac, I believe, has joined the chat, so he's going to be the first person up. I wanted to discuss some strategy with him as well. First things first, once we get Byron up and rolling here on the show, is I want to jump over to the screen. We can see that we have everything on the go over at Underdog. Code Mayo, by the way, at Underdog, if you want to get a deposit bonus. It's very easy to do that. Byron, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Did you see at least like the first 80% of the new intro?
I was about to say, happy to be part of a very nice intro there. And then Old Red with the Butterfingers, apparently. So we'll have to work on that. You know, interns are interns after all.
Hey, Jared's the full-time producer here.
He's full-time now. Hey.
Yeah, Byron.
Jared, you got to get that figured out.
So I've made so you are in a state where you can't do this. So you've been going out of state to go to your drafts all at once, right?
Yeah, I've been starting slow drafts on the borders of Missouri and Omaha. So it's been fun. Met some fun people along the way.
So how have you found about auto drafting while you set your rankings versus doing it in person? Because we can go back and check out some of the teams that I've done so far. I forgot to label which ones are the auto drafts. I think there's 2 auto drafts that I put in there just to see what they would turn out like. And I find it incredibly difficult to structure my actual rankings, which you can do underneath the rankings tab on Underdog for these drafts, to get me what I think that I need to actually win.
Yeah. If you know me, you know that I'm a big proponent of drafting these things with your own blood, sweat, and tears. You have to have rankings that adjust as you're going along, either in your head or using the dog dominator based off who you've drafted. It kind of readjusts your rankings to make sure that you're putting in guys you don't want to click because they have to be in your team in order to satisfy the other remaining schedules that you have holes in.
Yeah, so here is, and it's funny because I don't even follow the rankings every single time because I'm not trying to draft the same team. Like, if you wanted to draft the same 10 guys every single time, I feel like that you could. with the way that everything breaks down. Like I said, I think at one point that I'd have no Ben Griffin. I've actually started to take Ben Griffin a little bit just because having none of him, it gets a bit tough sometimes. And sometimes he gets left on the board. A lot of times he just goes second and then I can get Sam Burns. But I was starting with so many Sam Burns, Seb Straka teams that I had to diversify from that a little bit.
Correct. That's what my new wave of drafts are. The next 35, I'm drafting with like exposure settings on there. So anyone that's got like 40% exposure, shout out JJ Spawn, will not be drafted this round because I've like reduced their rankings so much based off how much of them I've drafted already. Patrick Cantleys and Ludwig Obergs are like this. They're giving me like heartburn every time I click them, but we got to do it to get some exposure there.
So let's take a look at some of the exposure that I got going right now for the Scramble. I'll apply that. 29 teams drafted so far. I have 76% Jake Knapp. That's always fun.
Hey, you know what? Sony Open, Cognizant, Jake Knapp is live.
So I made a list of sort of the best non-signature event guys in my mind that are going a little bit later. There's like a middle tier of these guys, and there's the late tier of these guys. And I reflected that in the rankings that I have up on BetSperts right now. So like Knapp and Keith Mitchell are firmly a part of that. And I really started going heavy with Griot because I had so much Mac Hughes to begin with in the PME Open that I've actually scaled back on Mac Hughes. You can see Mac Hughes I only have down at 25% now. So I'll probably start getting more Mac Hughes again in this contest, but I'm just going to shimmy over to my rankings. Again, they're all up at betspertsgolf.com. You can see the tier that I made here. So like I have Michael Brennan and Jake Knapp as Michael Brennan's a bit different because he'll play the Masters guaranteed, and he'll play the Heritage guaranteed because he won an event during the swing season. But Knapp fills out everything that you need. He'll play John Deere. He'll play Canada. He'll play Torrey Pines and Sony, and he's like the only guy committed to Cognizant so far. He's playing in Houston. He'll play the CJ Cup. And the one thing that I started to worry about, especially about advancing out of the first round, I've changed my strategy a lot since we've talked last time, that I am really gearing up for that final portion now with Canada, US Open, John Deere Classic to make sure that I have the proper amount of guys. That's why I moved Rory back up in the rankings and why I moved Sam Burns to number 2. It's just he's going to play Canada and he'll probably play Scotland. That's almost good enough for me to make him number 2, knowing he's got Amex. Maybe you get Valspar out of him. But the Aon 10 guys, like Nico, Kirk, Kirk's probably an outlier in that regard. I think Razorman's one of them. There's a chance they don't play Cognizant because they've played too much golf in a row. Like that could be something that they skip, knowing that the Players is coming up. Then they probably go Players hard into the Masters. That they're probably great round 2 guys, but there's a chance that they skip Honda.
There's a good chance. There's also guys like Andrew Novak and your boy Mike, who both your guys went Marathon City last year. I think they went 13 and 14 straight to try and get into the Masters. So if you can find guys that are in that like Aon 10 that aren't qualified for the Masters yet, that carrot just keeps getting kicked down the road. And then they just got to keep going and going, whether they like it or not. So I think you absolutely got to find like Taylor Pendrith, Nico Echeverria, Billy Horschel. Those are some interesting names that need to find their way into some majors. Harry Hall.
The issue with those guys is because let's see, Pendrith is signature events, Nico's in the Aon 10, Billy Horschel probably gets some sponsors exemption. So he's actually one that I have up pretty high. Matt McCarty as well. Dietrich might end up playing a ton like he did towards the end of last year, and he's a signature event guy too. The issue with these guys is they might just play themselves inside the top 50 right away.
Correct. So you mentioned earlier, Pat, that you've changed your like philosophy on getting out of round 1 and now focusing more on guys that will dominate for you in round 4 of this Scramble contest. Changing your viewpoint on golfers or kind of providing them with a different narrative based off of something. You don't have to stick with one specific angle on a guy. You can play, Rico Hoey as if he's going to find his way early into the top 50. And then you can like draft lineups that almost pretend that he doesn't ever get inside the top 50. So he doesn't play any majors and just plays the normie events the whole way through. So, there's speculation involved here. So don't get stuck in one lane.
I think that, okay, so as you'll see as we go through, like Poston is a signature event guy, but he's 58th in the world right now. And even when he was in the majors last year in the signature events, he still played John Deere at the end of the season, which is huge. He's a former winner of the event. So if you're trying to identify some of the guys that are a bit more likely to play some of these goober events, Poston ends up becoming a really good pick. The other one I found was Jacob Bridgman. Where's Bridgman? Bridgman's 81st. Bridgman is committed to Sony already. I got some, we'll say probably committed to Sony at this point. There's a few guys that we're going through, but he's going to play there. He came second at Cognizant last year, so he probably makes another run at that. And he just where he hasn't been in all of the majors in his lifetime, and this is really the first time through for him. You might see him pick up some extra events or keep that on the go. Whereas, listen, no matter how well, like if Ricky gets himself into everything right away, let's say he wins Amex, I don't think that you're going to see him at CJ Cup or John Deere again. It's just not happening.
He's going to get a bout of the elitists where he just kind of goes full signature and leaves all the normies and blue collar boys to do their thing. I love Bez, like as someone that's almost like a lock to play the John Deere. Is Bez going to get himself inside the top 50 in the world? I mean, I feel like he's perpetually in that like purgatory that we love for fantasy golf, right? Where you kind of looking to get someone that can play all the normies without getting into the six.
He is. I just don't think he's that good.
But he plays the John Deere well, and he plays the
he plays the John Deere well. But part of what you need to do, like I'm thinking, because there's a big, like I think the better drivers are the better issue here. That's why I have someone like Jake Knapp up there, because Jake Knapp will play well at Torrey, he'll play well at Houston, he'll play well at CJ Cup, because those are all big off the tee events. Bez does not say that Bez can't do well at these events, but that he's not in that sort of position where I would like to see him. I'd rather take a Matt McCarty who's closer to the top 50, who's just kind of a grinder. And I never have to worry about, and maybe I don't have to with Bez, maybe this is unfair, that he'll go play a DP World Tour event for no reason, which Bez might.
Nah, no. Bez is like, he's now a PGA man. He's like turning into Matt Kuchar, basically.
Okay, sure. I don't think he's very good, so you can stick with your South African guy. He sucks. Don't draft him. You'd rather draft Matt McCarty.
He won the Amex 2 years ago, by the way.
Well, I guess he wouldn't get credit for the first place points.
No, he wouldn't have.
So that's not really doing us much good here. Like it's funny that because Dunlap ended up winning that. I think Dunlap's actually a pretty good pick if you think that he has any sort of resurgence. He's in everything. He's in a great talent. He's already won twice on tour, and he's going to get to hammer all these crappy events.
Yes, he's also just, if you believe that he's got the training wheels back off the driver again, then we in business. But he provides you with his floor is ground zero as well.
Yes,
it could come off the rails quite quickly again.
So here's a list of guys in the middle here. Where did I put them? Yeah, starting with John Kiefer. That's going to be low on Kiefer, so I'm not getting a bunch of him. Same as Davis Thompson. Just because I don't see them as that different than other guys who are Sony, who I project as Sony, or Cognizant, John Deere. Like those three, if they can get candidates, even better. That's why I ended up with so much Keith Mitchell, because he's playing all of these events. Austin Eckroat is most definitely playing Cognizant, a place he's won. He's playing John Deere unless he plays himself in. He's won twice on tour. He'll play Sony. Griot's going back to John Deere for sure. Griot plays Canada. Griot will play Sony. Griot will play Honda. Mac Hughes is exactly the same way. So these are great innings eaters, guys, in my mind. Alex Smalley, Vince Whaley, Kevin Yu, the other as a part of that. Ben An I threw in the middle because I didn't realize that Ben An wasn't in the signature events.
Yep. Didn't play well enough last year to get in. Back on Johnny Kiefer, Pat, why would you not like him that much? Because he is the number one guy from the Corn Ferry Tour, right? So he gets into the first. Does he get into the first two?
No, he gets into the first two majors, the Masters and the US Open. But I'm not really sweating major starts here, honestly.
Yeah. No, but what the major starts helps with is if he is 48th in the world rankings right now, he's going to be flirting with getting into the PGA Championship and the Open Championship. So maybe Johnny Kiefer will have to play the John Deere Classic if he wants to get into the Open based off of world ranking points. I also think he's going to play all 5 of the beginning normal events. He's going to give you those. And if he's 48th in the world and finds himself playing well early, he could also morph into a signature event guy. If you're inside the top 30 in OWGR the week before a SIG event, you play. So he's good enough to be a hybrid guy that you could find a massive amount of utility out of.
He is. The issue I have with him is I'd rather draft Matt Fitzpatrick at the same price with the way that my strategy is going, and then take Keith Mitchell 3 rounds later. Like, I don't see that big of a difference between them. Yeah, maybe he'll play himself into that and you get those extra starts. I have those starts covered already. And for his price point, I'd rather just take better players at that price. That's for me, though. Like, I have him, as I said, the highest ranked of those guys. It's just all of the other guys afterwards are going in the 10th, 11th, and 12th round, where John Kiefer, like, I have him at 58. He's going at pick, 52? Like, I have him right around where he's going. There's other guys that I think that are equivalent to him, and I can take them way later.
Okay, cool. And I want to also bounce off that as well. Taking guys late is interesting because you don't have to like adhere to ADP entirely, especially when you get into like your 115th draft. You can start reaching for guys so you can get different combinations of your 12 dudes, because I've reached, if you like 3 of the same guys that are all getting drafted 52nd, 53rd, 54th, you're not going to get all 3 of those guys on the same team. So grab 1 or 2 early so that when it does come to that round, you can grab that 3rd guy and pair him up with those other 2 dudes that you're kind of in the mood for.
Yeah, and I kind of put those guys on a tier. These are non-signature event guys. Then you have your Valimaki, Finau, Homa, Theegala range of guys who are probably going to mix and match between some of them, but they're going to end up getting either sponsors exemptions into signature events, and it might reduce the amount of goober starts that they end up making, because Valimaki's in the first 2. If he plays just a little bit better, he'll be a full signature event guy probably most of the season. Finau will get sponsors exemptions along the way, but he'll play Houston. He'll play Amex. We'll see if he goes to Sony. Probably not. And Homa will play every event until he's back in, and then he won't be back in anymore. Then he'll stop playing those. So, and Theegala is going to be the same way, where I think they're good value, but you can see them playing once you get to this point of the draft. The reason that I rank them so low is that it's not that I want to bet on guys that I don't think that are going to be good, but I need them to be like casually good where they keep playing all the tournaments I need them to play in. I could see all 4 of these guys play, like all 4 of these guys should probably end up playing John Deere or Scotland, Canada, whatever it might be at the end of the year. Hell, Colonial and CJ Cup. But I also like all 4 of these guys that they might just play. They might be too good to play in those events.
One of them could win Torrey Pines, of those 3 there for sure. So they would not go to Canada if they do that. What about like Vince Whaley? I feel like he's a perfect average Joe.
I got him right there. I got him a part of that tier of the guys that I'm loading up with in the last 3 rounds. That's why I moved these guys up, so I can kind of pick and choose 3 of these guys at the end of every draft.
Yeah. What are you doing with Adam Scott, Pat? I think
I had him up higher earlier.
He's not top 50. I think you got him like he's a little in the 50s for you somewhere. I think I just saw.
Adam Scott. I got him at 55. I just don't end up with he goes, I don't know. I just don't end up with a bunch of them is the weird thing. Because I don't think that he's going to.
I know. Why not? Because he might have to pay.
He might, but he also might not because he's old.
Correct. But he's also, he's Amex bound, for the first time in a while. So I think he's coming to terms with a new schedule, especially if he likely gets an invite to the Genesis, right? Yep. At Riv. And but I don't know about, so he'll play a couple of those events. And I think he could be someone that plays the Cognizant type situation because he may not be playing the API.
He could be, but I don't want to risk drafting Adam Scott over guys that I'm like 80% sure playing the Cognizant, where I'd probably put Adam Scott at 50% as is. If he plays well enough to get himself into like the Aeon swing, he's definitely not playing.
Yes, correct. And that is the beauty of this situation, is things can change so quickly.
Like Mitchell and Eckroat have both won the Cognizant. They're probably going to play. They're like 95% to play. Knapp is committed, so he's playing. Griot plays it every year. Mac Hughes plays it every year. Like those 4 guys, I feel, and Smalley and Whaley and Kevin Yu will be the same way. I feel like you can count on them for Sony Cognizant.
Correct. And Tom Hoagie if you're in the mood.
So that's the other interesting tier I have. So I have this like secondary tier of those guys that I just talked about. It's like Mac Meisner, Kevin Roy, Jaeger, Cole, Svensson, Chairman Mao, Mark Hubbard, Stephen Fisk, Shipley, Pearson Cootie, Patrick Rogers. Like if those other guys go too much, or I take 2 from this tier and 1 from this tier. diversify some of my teams. But you have this middle tier of guys who are all signature event bound and give you different things depending on how you've drafted. So like Lowry will play Canada, probably doesn't play Scotland, but might play Cognizant because he does every single year. So he's an
And the
interesting
Farmers.
one, but he gives you nothing at the beginning of the year, and he's in all the majors. Dietrich is not in all the majors, but he's in all the signature events and played a pretty full schedule. The issue with Dietrich is that he sucked most of the year after his
Sucks. That's the thing, is the easiest thing to do is try project what schedule the golfers are going to play. The second easiest, or the more hard thing to do, is predict how well they're going to play. And Thomas Dietrich,
yeah, so like Day's in the same thing where he's in all the signature events. He tends to play CJ Cup, which is nice. He'll probably play Amex. It's just if, all of a sudden he rides in a car improperly and he's out for 3 weeks for tournaments he was going to play. And he's like, nah, I'll set it out till whatever tournament I need to play. Rose, I started taking Rose in the last round. If I needed like a few more signature event starts, I was low on majors, just a guy who's in everything. Probably doesn't pick up much. Like he might play Colonial, but he'll play Canada and Scotland, which is huge.
Yes.
So he's a great round 4 player if you need those starts. Hoagie and Brian Campbell, like Brian Campbell's basically in every major, every signature event. He might just play every event this year. Problem is he too sucks.
He too sucks. E2 Brute, Brian Campbell. But I mean, for the 2 wins, I think that's it. Like that's his only top 30s that he had were his 2 wins like last year. So I cannot with a right mind click his name. It just doesn't make sense. You're going to get 2 rounds from him pretty much most tournaments.
Yeah, for most tournaments, he's a body to fill spaces if you have completely whiffed on filling out the rest of your team. Like I think that Hoagie is a better example of this, who's also a signature event guy. He's not in the majors, but he'll just start playing everywhere.
Yes, and at one point in Tom Hoagie's life before Child, he was like top 5 iron player in the world. And apparently Diapers Swipe is the approach play there for him. So maybe he bounces back. Penn is someone that I'm all 3 of those guys, actually. Yeah, the DP. I went on to the DP World Tour entry list for the 2 Dubai tournaments, Pat. Marco Penn is not on either.
Okay.
List.
Interesting. If for whatever reason, if he shows up to Sony and Amex, he is now like a top 30 pick. But I just find like these are guys that I'm targeting in the last round, depending on how my drafts have gone. Like I feel like if you take them, Adam Scott's kind of the same way. And someone in the chat pointed this out, that like if you take Adam Scott or if you take one of these guys where they're going and they're going, let's see what the latest is on Penge. I feel like he's been going down. Malco is pick 63, and you got Christoph. Where's Christoph going at 68? So they're now nearing back towards the last round. That if you're covered everywhere else, I think they're great flyers to take because they're not going in every draft, and they might end up picking up a whole bunch of starts and be good in those starts that you don't realize. The problem is if you take them early, you then have to backfill for them just in case.
Yes, taking them early is a risk, but I think also knowing that you have a back-end strategy for guys like that when you take early, if you've gone like say Jason Day, Brian Harmon early for signature event starts that are going to get you Farmers, Amex, Sony, Cognizance, things like that, then you can kind of just take these guys as like wild cards, as a 7th guy of your already 6 that you have that can just spike hard. Marco Penge is 32nd in the world. 1 or 2 good starts, and he's flirting with that. He could play all the signature events. He could play some normies. Like he's a total joker for me.
But that's the part that worries me. It's the some normies. I don't care. Like I would prefer he doesn't get into the signature events and plays all the normies. Then I'd love to have him being in the majors and having to play those and not in the signature events. Filling out signature events is super easy.
Correct. And having him show up randomly when you've already got enough people could help. And getting into the top 30 in the world is difficult too. Like we've seen a lot of these DP guys come over and struggle. So he could struggle. And then you're still getting like a top end guy playing the John Deere Classic in middle of July.
That would be great. And the one good thing about Penge and Wrighton, as we've seen with most international players, they'll play the Canada Scotland Open Championship run, like those 3. If you can figure out if any of them are going to be playing in the John Deere. Maybe it's worth taking them because of that they don't hit or they need to get extra FedEx Cup points, whatever it might be, that they get themselves into those things. All of a sudden you're like, okay, that's a bit better. But I've been taking Rory to fill that spot towards the end. And it's hard to pair one of these guys with Rory, I've found, or Tommy, or Fitzpatrick, for example, or Ludwig even.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really how you build around your guys. So what I've trying to been doing, Pat, is go 3 signature event guys, and then Rico, Nico, Nick is like where I go next. Like give me Rico in the 4th round, give me Nico in the 5th round, give me guys like that. That if you think about the fall swing, Rico Hoey was like 12-1 to win the Bay Current. Like, don't you want that guy as many lineups as possible, because he's going to likely be playing all of these Sony Opens, Amexes, Farmers, and be on the first page of odds boards pretty much every single time he tees it up in those tournaments.
Yeah, I think that he's the best normal player who's not in everything right now. I don't think it's close that he's the best player, and he makes a ton of birdies. I guess Michael Brennan is technically, I have him one spot. I have Brennan one spot behind Hoey, but that's because with Brennan, you're going to get it feels like he is Hoey, but he's in the Masters and he's in Heritage already, which is very nice.
Yes.
And he's not in the signature events right now, so he might just run the table. And he might end up playing Cognizant as well. Though the thing that I sent to you, so this will be my spoiler for this show, if people want to know, that guys that who are playing signature events and are playing the Sony Open. You ready for this?
Yes.
Kurt Kitayama, Russell Henley, Brian Harmon, Keegan Bradley, Sam Stevens, Tom Hoagie, Jacob Bridgman, Siwoo, and Campbell are the guys playing in the Sony who are signature event players. Taylor, Connors, and Griffin might also play as well, and so might Pendrith. Like the official deadline hasn't passed yet. They have until 2 Fridays from now, but these are the early commits. So those guys could back out if they wanted to, but it's really affected the way that I draft Keegan Bradley. The Keegan Bradley all of a sudden he's just not going very high at all. Like, you can wait and take Keegan Bradley. Like, he doesn't go in some drafts, which is crazy. Like, he's like a 10th round pick for me. I think when I went to if I go to the exposure, I think that he'll be one of my top guys in the scramble when we take a look at it. Yeah, Keegan's my 3rd highest owned guy at 48%. He's just a 9th, 10th, 11th round pick every single time. I was taking a bunch of Harris English in that spot. But when you project out Keegan, what you're looking for is, now that you know that he is committed to Sony, I'm telling you that right now, and hopefully that continues to track and he doesn't back out, but you get Sony, Torrey, Phoenix, and the 2 signature events out of him in round 1. That's big.
That's huge.
He generally plays Valspar. He generally plays Valero, and he always plays Colonial. So you get those 3 from him as well on top of it, plus every major and every signature event.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great piece. So you're going to be, did you say Charles Schwab or CJ Cup? No.
Charles Schwab, yes. CJ Cup,
yes.
no.
Okay.
I think that's what makes Burns pretty enticing, because I think Burns will play the CJ Cup. And there is one downside. I was talking, actually, when I talked to Michael Kim, this will come out in it, between Novak and Griffin, is that they'll probably defend at Zurich, which doesn't count, which takes probably CJ Cup off the board for them.
Yes, because that stretch, I mean, we get 5 tournaments where you don't have a single normie start. Masters, RBC, Miami, Truist, PGA. Like, if you drafted somebody that's not in those, you're not going to see them for 6 weeks. They're not going to be producing for you. So it's important to remember that kind of a stretch there.
The first leg of the crazy. 3rd round is Cadillac, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Cadillac Miami Championship thing.
So you go signature event. Myrtle Beach doesn't count.
No.
PGA Championship.
Major.
So signature event, major. Then the Byron Nelson. Scotty will probably play this. All the Asian dudes will play it who were sponsored by CJ Cup. Hideki, I mean, all the Korean players sponsored by CJ Cup. Hideki has played it a few times. And then anyone who has Texas roots are going to be there as well. So Scotty, Jordan,
Burns.
But Bud Colley is going to play every Texas event and every signature event.
Yes. And Florida. He loves those like Florida
And
tracks too.
hell, if he just, I mean, he has like 4 years to
But
make up
they
in his career.
playing.
What?
Yeah, that was a brutal car crash for him. It took away a lot of starts, but he's going to make them up. Something I did want to mention is Durrell. I took a look at Liv's leaderboard, and I think one person was under par at Durrell for the Cadillac. So if they set it up tough, that particular signature event's not that big of a deal. But again, there's 3 signature events in that round. So it doesn't really, you gotta have guys playing in those for that round.
So I was trying to develop like what a blueprint would look like. And I've mentioned this on the show a few times and I can't really figure it out. So let's try to talk this through. That I think you need 2 studs, just 2 guys who you think are going to be really good this year. Be it Scotty and someone if you end up with the first pick. If not, like that's why I end up taking Rory a lot of the time, or Ludwig or Hideki in that range, only because like when we were looking at my rankings, you can see like at the beginning, I take a lot of Sung Jae in the second round. I take a lot of Michael Kim in the second round. I take a lot of Nick Taylor in the third round. These are signature event guys who are still going to play a ton of tournaments. They are helping me in a lot of spots, but I think that you still need to have your guys that could win majors too.
Yes, you need those guys. But again, if you think about when the majors are getting played, the winning score is like -5, unless it's Scotty Scheffler at -11, So it's basically that you got to remember that you're not getting that many birdies from those guys, but you are getting finishing position points. It's always interesting, Pat, because if you go heavy, like Hideki is not going to help you at Canadian Open. He doesn't play the Scottish. He's only giving you 3 starts in the final stretch.
Yeah. But you can make
so you got to remember, okay, I've gone Hideki for round 1 utility purposes. Round 1 and round 2 is going to help me get out of that, and then build around him with guys that will get you. Like Hideki Rory isn't a terrible combo, because you're getting a stud for each round of golf, for round 1 and round 4.
All right. Well, if people in the chat have any ideas and want to throw any ideas into it, I'm all game for this. We're going to draft here in a minute, but I'm thinking 2 studs. I think you want to get 4 non-signature event for sure guys who just will take on every non-signature event tournament that you like, the Birdie Fest, high birdie or better guys. I've already highlighted those in the rankings. Find the rankings at betspertsgolf.com. I think you want to get your like higher end schedule, like 4 higher end schedule signature event guys. And then you're at 8, then you have like 2 extra hybrid players. So when I talk about the signature event schedule guys, I'm talking about Keegan, Russell Henley, Brian Harmon. I think those are the 3 best of that ilk. JT Poston, Bridgman, and Bud Cauley are probably pretty close to those guys because they might take on Denny McCarthy's another one that I would throw into that mix. Like try to get 4 of those 7 guys, which is very doable as you go through the draft, because then you get all your signature events, most majors, plus you pick off a Sony, a Valero, a Valspar, a CJ Cup, a John Deere Classic, and then you don't need 5 of the guys that I talked about at the end, the Keith Mitchell types. You don't need 5 of them. You only need 4 of them. Then you can reinvest into something. So does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. If you can draft in a way that you can spread out your signature event guys into the normie events so that you've got a couple stars playing in those as well, along with maybe the 5 or 6 normies that you draft for certain, I think you're cooking. That's the secret for sure.
So I think this was...
And I saw you drafted a lot of Russell Henley, Pat.
I did. Well, once I figured out he was playing in the Sony, I was like, okay, let's go. And he's...
Sony, do you think he plays the clock?
I saw you tweet this out the other day, but like, what's the one thing that's not like the other top 10 player in the world? Like, why is JJ Spawn being drafted 4 rounds ahead of Russell Henley?
Well, yeah. I bet the better question is, why is Russell Henley getting drafted 4 or 5 rounds after everyone that was around him over there? JJ Spawn is, he's solid, but compared to Russell Henley, I don't think he's 4 rounds different, Compared to Xander, I don't think Russell Henley's 4 rounds different.
So here is what we're looking at. I'm trying to find, where's the Ben Griffin team? Because I know that for sure. Yeah. So this is an auto draft team that I did. So here's where it kind of falls apart. So Ben Griffin, Sung Jae, good start. Then it goes Ludwig, and Ludwig will probably get Torrey Pines. Like, I'm trying to think of where Ludwig plays early. It's probably Torrey Pines and the 2 signature events. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but you'll probably get Canada for sure, Scotland maybe out of him towards the end as well. You just need him to be like picking Ludwig where you pick him means that he has to be good this year.
Correct. And that would be different to what he was last year because he was bad last year.
So in the chat, someone said a nice stack is Scotty, Rory, and Spieth to start. I wouldn't take Spieth there. That's where I'd be looking for like a Bridgman or a Nick Taylor, one of those guys. Because I'm just not convinced that Spieth ends up playing like 7 of the first 10 events or 9 of the first 10 events.
Why not? He literally said that he's going to play a lot of golf early to get himself in
We'll
the
see.
signature events.
We'll see.
Correct. We will see. And again, once 35 minutes into the show, we are saying we will see. This is all stuff we're speculating about. That's like none of this stuff is set in stone at all.
So the issue became here is like I ended up getting, maybe this will end up working because I took Dietrich, Keegan. So the only like non-signature event guys that I have are Kevin Yu, Bjorn Hanan, Matt McCarty, Thor Bjornsson, and that's it. So I have those 4. I feel like I'm lacking in other spots here. Like if Griffin and Bridgman both play Sony, I could be okay as long as the other 4 end up going and Keegan's going to be there. I only have 4, maybe 5 max for Cognizant. So I might be able to max out round 1. I guess this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's just in the last round.
I this in for you.
What's that?
And you don't have any holes. I think the Cognizant, you've got 6 guys, according to what I've got scheduled out.
Who are the 6 guys that you think that Sungjae is going to play Cognizant?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's early in the schedule. He could potentially just go bananas and just play everything. Again, like draft knowing that Sungjae is going to play the Cognizant, thinking he is, and then draft thinking he isn't. Like you don't have to be set in stone for certain things. But I do want to mention, Pat, with this draft as well, in the Discord, we've got a thing called Hog the Cog, where we are just trying to draft as many Cognizant golfers as possible so that all the other 5 people in your draft don't get them. And as you see, you've only got 5 or 6 guys playing. The Cognizant is the 3rd easiest tournament of all 7 to begin the contest. So you're going to get likely the 3rd most points from that tournament. If you can limit people to getting 4 or 5 Cognizant players only, and the 5th and 6th guys are actually shitty golfers, and you have got 8 to 10 to 12 Cognizant starts, like you've kind of cornered that market from everyone. And like getting the best Cognizant players like Lowry and Henley and Harmon, Sepp. That can be a fun lineup to have.
I could see Sepp going because he won. I could see Lowry not playing the Cognizant. Because when I mentioned Michael Kim in the interview, he's just like, I was like, does it change a lot that there's no Mexico bye week? He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't think a lot of people are going to play. He's like, I know a lot of people in Jupiter who aren't playing.
Correct. So exactly, like, wouldn't you want to just load up on guys that could potentially play because some of them won't? And
but I mean, I have more confidence in Bridgman playing in the Cognizant than I do Lowry.
Do you have more confidence that if Shane Lowry plays, he's going to play better than Jacob Bridgman, though?
I mean,
Shane Lowry's going to win the Cognizant at some point in his life, right? Surely.
As long as he continues to play it. So this was a team that I put together that I went Rory and Fleetwood with, just to have those, like I drafted those 2 guys as my studs this year to see if I could figure out anything around it. So you get Burns. So that's why I end up with Bridgman, Harmon, and Henley on this team, and Glover, because I think that Glover will end up playing a lot of the Goober events. Yep. And he plays in Texas like every time.
Yep, and the John Deere.
Yeah, so you end up with Sony is covered, and I put in, like I said, those bottom end guys: Eckroat, Griot, Kevin Yu, and Keith Mitchell. This is just a very standard end of my draft. But sometimes it's Henley a bit earlier, or like Keegan Bradley goes in the spot, or Dietrich goes in towards the end. Yep. That would be the tough one, I think, to try like that end of the schedule. And I can see what other people are doing in my draft when I do it at the same time. Like I drafted with a guy the other day. I think he got projected for 20,000 points, and he has 0 chance of getting out of round 1.
Exactly. The projections are horrible. And if you showed this screenshot to someone that was just getting into PGA Best Ball, they're probably going to look at you and be like, did you get like smashed in round 4 of this draft? Because like, why are you taking Jacob Bridgman, Brian Harmon, Jake Knapp, Lucas Glover? Like there are better options available, but these guys fit exactly how you started your draft. They complement it perfectly.
Yeah, I'm trying to find twice I got the first pick and twice my Wi-Fi cut out. So I didn't
Oh
quite.
God.
I have a Scotty Rory team somewhere, but then my internet cut out and I wasn't able to follow it up with the proper picks. Where is it?
You know, a Scotty Rory team is super intriguing for like that third round.
Oh,
where
yeah.
you have 4 of a major and 3 signature events, and then a Charles Schwab in the mix there as well with Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, it
Jesus,
drafted Keegan in the third round for me because I set my queue of guys that I wanted to highlight for later, and then it just auto took Keegan Bradley and Henley and kind of fucked up everything I was doing. But
I don't hate that, considering he fixes a lot of problems for you.
The problem is I had to draft Brian Campbell for signature event and major starts. But like Harris English is another one going like hilariously late.
Harris English finished second in 2 majors last year.
Yeah.
He's going undrafted at times. Like, why would you not take that guy at any point? Like just take 5 signature event guys until you get to the 12th round, and then just take Jason Day or Justin Rose or Keegan Bradley or Harris English as your final signature event guy, because they free. You can spend your capital elsewhere.
So hopefully this can work out for me because Henley and Bradley both committed to Sony. That's very helpful. Then Nico, Kirk, Knapp, Horschel, Hughes. Those 5 should. Nico might be too good and end up playing himself into things and then stops playing everything. But for the moment, those 5 guys set up pretty well. And I have enough crossover with some of the other guys where Campbell might end up playing in those events as well. But you're on a very thin line with this.
Having too many signature event guys?
When we get to the 4th round, honestly, how many guys do you think are going to be able to max starts that you're competing with? We get all the way to round 4. How many teams left in the scramble, whatever tournament it might be, are going to actually have 6 guys at every event?
Correct.
Like
not very many.
50% maybe?
If they do, it was, I would say probably less than half for sure. Because the John Deere is going to be the biggest issue for sure, because to get the guys that are playing in the John Deere to the John Deere is hard,
Yeah, 100%.
I think the secret is trying to morph your guys.
What does that mean?
To go from playing to like have them peak perfectly into round 3, where they just start making their way from normie events into the signatures, because that's when it matters most. And then
but you need
the schedule changes completely.
Like if you had to say what would be the 2 most important tournaments in this schedule, I think it's Cognizant and John Deere.
Ooh, yeah, correct.
They are the hardest 2 tournaments to fill out. John Deere is impossible to project out, and I think Cognizant is right now too, to go along with a team that could actually win things.
Yes. And John Deere Classic averaged 1.6 strokes under par on average last year, which was the easiest in that final round, right? So that is going to be even though you've got the 6 worst guys on your roster playing that tournament, they could score you the most points that week out of everyone, with the Scotty Scheffler in your team even. So fun stuff.
Well, do you want to start drafting some teams?
Absolutely. Let's rock and roll.
So let's get to draft number 1. I want to, if you're still in the chat, smash a like. You got to sub to the channel to participate in the draft or to participate in the chat. Thanks everyone for doing that. We'll return after a break and load this all up. Let's go. All right, people, it's that time of year again. The Mayo Cup is officially open. That's right, your yearly reminder that you could win life-changing money if you stop making coward picks and actually commit to greatness. Let's talk stakes, because the Mayo Cup, not messing around. $110,000 to first place. 110,000 actual real dollars. And with your $250 entry, you're playing for a prize pool of $1.2 million. That's 7 figures of pure, delicious fantasy golf sweat. And this season, the Mayo Cup is fully available in the Fanball app. Week-to-week picks, leaderboard sweats, berating yourself for fading the guy who wins by 6. You can do it all right from your phone. So head to the Fanball app, search for the Mayo Cup, and get yourself entered. $1.2 million in prizes. $110,000 to the winner. Just $250 to play. This is the year, unless you blow it again. But hey, you might not. Sign up now. The contest tees off January 15th. I gotta tell you about pre-alcohol, my secret weapon before a night out. I used to choose a great night or a great next day. Now, I get both with ZBiotics. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic made by PhD scientists to fight rough mornings. Alcohol creates a toxic byproduct in your gut, not dehydration, that ruins the next day. Pre-alcohol makes an enzyme to break it down. Drink it first, drink it responsibly, and wake up still feeling fresh. I was skeptical, but the first time that I tried it, rooftop, with my pals, drank it before my first cocktail, next morning, felt amazing, ready to crush the day. Go to zbiotics.com/PatMayo to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Pat Mayo at checkout. ZBiotic is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/PatMayo and use the code PatMayo at checkout for 15% off. All right, we're back. Let's do this. Draft number 1. Let's enter the scramble. Byron, me and you are going to draft a team together, all right?
All right, let's go.
Additionally, I got some good news.
Talk to me, baby.
We got to wait for 5 people to join. If anyone in the draft wants to join, go ahead. So we might be vamping here in a second. So the Pat Mayo Open filled like immediately. It filled with 17 days to go. That means I am pitching for a new PME Open. It's going to be a higher price point with fewer entries. That is going to be different than anything that people will see in the lobby right now. So I think it might be a $150 3 max.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So you're trying to send me to Missouri again.
There we go. That started pretty easy. We got pick number 4.
That went nice.
I wish I could spend more money. I'll pay double the entry if you give me the first pick when I want it. I just want to keep some Scotty. It's no fun not having Scotty teams.
Maybe we can get a Ben Griffin at the 4-hole, yeah.
I would guess that we get Siwoo here. And Siwoo, I have Siwoo ranked above Ben Griffin because I just think he'll play everywhere, plus the CJ Cup. Now, Hot Soup says he got 101. Hot Soup, you jerk. I'll trade you.
Hot Soup, the defending champ.
Yeah. And then he gets picked 1-1. Just
pick 101.
The shittiest pick every time.
What on earth is this? Is not even fair.
Well, I think everyone in the draft right now is in the chat room as they draft along with us. I mean, that's the point of doing the show, that we can do it. But it's going to be fun now that I've revealed exactly what I wanted to do for each one of my picks.
Those first 45 minutes just ruined this draft.
Yeah, Hot Soup, you just not take Scheffler. Really change it up a bit.
That would be fun. Burns, come on, take Siwoo. Either one's fine. I don't mind. There we go.
So we're going to build a Ben Griffin team here with pick number 4. So it goes Scheffler, Burns, Siwoo, Ben Griffin with the first 4 picks. I think everyone just left Ben Griffin to me, hoping that I wouldn't take Ben Griffin. But, I have him at 4. I'll take him. Bobby Mack. See, I feel like that's a bit high for Bobby Mack. I like him a lot.
Bobby Mack's now he is a top 10 golfer in the world, Pat, and he's going to be playing the Amex. And
I would guess he plays either. I bet you he plays Torrey.
Potentially, he could start off with 5. He could give you 5 quite quickly.
So we go Bobby Mack, Spawn, Harry Hall. It's back to us after Michael Kim goes. This is where I just inevitably take Sungjae or Straka every time. You got a case for anyone else?
Yep.
10 seconds.
I like Seb.
You like Seb? Okay, we'll go Seb here. So Griffin and Seb.
That's a better player,
He is, but he's not playing potentially all the tournaments we want him to play.
Yeah, but that's okay. We can build around him. We've got, so far with Ben Griffin and Seb, we have got a start in every single tournament according to what I have projected so far. With Seb,
I don't know if Ben Griffin is not committed to play Sony as of yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, usually when you break your wife bad news, you do it late. So maybe he's going to tell her. That is a big concern for me, is him getting married. But hopefully he can keep laying it on the table and do what he did.
So Sungjae, Cam Young, Xander all come off the clock. Then goes Rory. So a Rory Scheffler team, a Rory Xander Scheffler team for Hot Soup. Whoa.
Oh, I mean, that is in majors and signatures, that's game over. But now you just got to figure out the rest. And I know Hot Soup's using the dog nominator, so he's gonna back build that.
Oh, he's in your Discord using your tools, cheating.
My
basically.
tools and my. Well,
What are we gonna do here? Like this is normally my Pendrith or Taylor spot.
Yep, I'm cool with either there. I also go a lot of Spieth here as well, but I know you're not a fan.
You know what? But you're the guest.
Yeah,
We'll take a Spieth.
Let's go.
We'll take a Spieth here. This is unlike any other lineup that I have right now.
Good. And it's volume heavy. A lot,
Yes, but I feel like we have 0 Sony starts right now. We have the potential.
No, Jordan's going to go play Sony. Surely he plays Sony.
We have the potential for. I mean, you're just filling. I mean, you might be right, but just saying like, "Oh no, he's going to play" is not true.
Correct. But I mean, do you think it's less than a 50% chance he plays?
I'd say it's like 50-50.
Sony.
So Stevens and Pendrith go. So that leaves us with Connors, Bridgman, Poston, Harmon. I'm good with Bridgman here.
Okay. Sure. Let's go Bridgman.
That gives us signature events, majors, Sony for sure, probably Cognizant. And Spieth will get us. Yeah. Spieth will get us the Texas events. Griffin will get us Colonial defending. I'm pretty sure. So that's nice. So we're light on Sony, Cog, and CJ Cup right now, and we have no one potentially playing John Deere.
Jordan played John Deere in 2024 at one point. Sepp won the John Deere at one point in his life.
So we're coming up here in 3 picks. Like Brennan and Hoey are both off the board, the high-end version of that type of player. Poston goes. So I think that we're kind of left between Harmon and Gerard, whichever one ends up going.
What is your point of view on Max Griesemann?
If later, sure. I mean, and I've seen him fall way later than this too.
Okay. So granted, if people are watching this, he's probably not going to, but I like him a lot.
So it's for us. It's right. Like we can go Gerard, Grazerman, Nico, Novak, Denny, Henley.
Let's go Nico. We know he's going to be playing the Sony.
Oh, shit, I misclicked. Uh-oh, we're going to end up with Ryan Gerard.
Did we get... we missed it.
We missed it.
Okay. You know what? Gerard is interesting because I changed my tune on him after he got into the top 50. I think he's going to play less now.
I don't think... I think if you go to Mauritius to try to grind your way in, I think you're playing.
Oh, yeah. You'll be playing a lot, but not as much as he was gonna.
Maybe.
We need Canada, Pat, bad with this team.
Yeah, so it's okay. You know what we can do? We can queue up Mac Hughes. And then if we don't get Mac Hughes, we can queue up Adam Svensson. Because he'll play John Deere as well, and he'll play all these events.
I don't think I've drafted a single Adam Svensson.
Hey, when I don't get Hughes and I need Canada John Deere, that's who I end up going to. So it's us on the clock.
Okay.
I think we got to go Henley here for a high up. We need more we don't have any high end stars.
Yeah.
And this gets us a Sony. So Canada, Knapp will play Canada. Noren will play Canada. Fox will play Canada. Kevin Yu, Keith Mitchell, both Canada players. Vegas probably plays, and he's a signature event guy.
Yeah, Vegas is also very mediocre last year.
That's fine. Sometimes you just need starts.
Just the starts, warm bodies.
So I think we're looking at Keith Mitchell with this pick, unless you think Thorbjornsen plays all these things.
I think Thor will have to. He's not in any majors or anything, so you getting Canada starts and John Deere is probably very good from him.
All right, then let's take the highest upside player possible with that pick then.
Okay.
Yeah, we're screwed on this team.
No, we're not. We're fine. We just need to keep focusing Canada. Keep going Canada. We're gonna get these guys as they come along to us.
People have plucked Ryan Fox from us now. Like I'm thinking with our pick, it's Keith Mitchell or Kevin Yu.
Yeah, I like Kevin Yu. I think he's a better golfer than Keith.
Really?
Yeah.
See, let's throw
At least Kevin
Grillo.
Yu, like, he's still showing us what he's kind of getting up to. Keith is he's just shown us he's just a top 20 guy only.
Matt McCarty's another one who could pop in that sort of sense. And McCarty just went. Of course he did. So you're seeing like Goddard, Keegan went pretty early here. Fitz still dropped to pick 38. That's much higher than I've been seeing him go. So you want to go Kevin Yu?
Yeah, let's go Kevin Yu.
Kevin Yu at pick number 45. All right.
Let's go. We loaded up early, so we got to go different now on the back end. That's the whole point of this.
2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 signature event players so far. So we still do we're going to have to go to the Collie Glover tier of signature event player as extra body fills kind of thing.
Minwoo Lee, do you think he plays Canada?
I don't know. Probably not.
Because I do know that we need some Houston starts as well. We need some Valero starts as well.
I mean, most of these guys will play Valero. Or most of these guys will play one of those two, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've currently just got us for 4 Valero starts.
What's that?
Correct. Spieth is the true wild card, yeah. So we got to
and
pretend like he could not
Vegas
play
also Texas resident might play those as well. So what do we got? 15 seconds.
I'm out on Vegas. Let's go. You want to go Benny on?
I don't know if that gets us all the starts that we need. Does it?
Yeah, it's good.
All right. You have him projected playing everywhere.
Okay. So Ben, he's a Vegas. He's a potential John Deere Classic guy. He play the Cognizant.
I feel like Eckroat's a much better lock for all of those. Smalley as well. And
cool.
Grio.
Let's go with them still. We need them. So we've got 3 more picks and we need 2 more Canadians open starts.
And we have 3 more. So we need 2 more Canadian open starts. Akshay is not off the board yet, by the way. Neither is Harris English.
Yeah. So maybe we can sprinkle in one of those guys as we go along and then find 2 Canadians as we go.
Now, Dietrich is almost a lock.
So what?
Play. Should we take Dietrich knowing he's a Canada
guy?
He's signature event and Canada.
Perfect.
Okay, so we'll take Dietrich.
Yep, that's a good. Sure, why not? It's a safe option.
Unfortunately, Spieth has us covered for the Masters. He's in that. A lot of this hinges on Spieth getting into some of these signature events.
Yes. What we're also struggling with, funnily enough, is the US Open because Spieth doesn't get into that. It's the one he needs for the Slam, and he's not qualified for it right now.
Honestly, if I had to punt one tournament off all year, it would be the US Open. I would rather not fill the US Open, but fill John Deere.
Correct. And we are looking like we've got that for the most part. So what are we, 2 jabronis to end this draft, yeah?
1, 2, 3. Yeah, we do need 2 jabronis. Keith Mitchell's still there, so he just falls to you every time.
Let's go. I don't care. Let's take him there. Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, we could take Grio. We could take, there's other guys. We could take Vince Whaley if he hasn't gone yet. Glover just went off the board. No, Whaley's already gone.
Gone.
Kevin.
How about
Roy?
Neil Shipley? Let's get Neil Shipley.
Kevin Roy's another one. You think Shipley will go everywhere?
There we go. Yes.
All right, we'll throw Neil Shipley.
Corn Ferry guys, I think, are perfect for filling Canada as well.
Yeah. So to me, the Canada guys that we have left highlight. Man, I can't believe Akshay is not going to get drafted, but we can't take him. I mean, we could.
We need a U.S. Open.
We need someone who plays potentially Sony, Cognizant, CJ Cup, and John Deere now. And there is one guy sticking out who also plays Canada that fits that mold. There's actually 2 guys on this list who I think do that.
For the most part, we're good for Canada, now. We don't have Opens and we don't have US Opens, but people could find their way in there as they play. But
eventually you need your guys to play somewhat well in this to get in. So for us, I think Grio's the pick here.
Grio.
I think he just plays everywhere we need him to play.
Exactly.
If you could ensure me that Eckroat played Canada, I'd be in. Although Eckroat probably plays CJ Cup. Yeah, let's go Grio before it takes Vegas on us. All right. So we'll redo this. Not getting Nico with the Gerard pick might be the biggest issue for us. Although I like Gerard.
It is what it is. I like Gerard a lot to start off the year too. So might as well get a couple of him. So our issue really, it just seems like the US Open and the Open Championship are the problems, but anyone could make their way in. Thor isn't playing any of that. He could. Kevin, you could. Benny on. Shipley, they could make their way in there.
So this was draft number 1, and we'll take a look at the results of said draft. So who's got the best team here? I want to see how this Scheffler, Rory, Xander team ended up. So Hoey, Brennan, Knapp, Bez, your boy, Horschel's in there as well, Colley. Because it also has Rye in here. And I would kind of group Rye in with Scheffler, Xander, and Rory, that you don't know exactly what starts he's going to make now that he has like supreme status.
Exactly. But he's got Rico, Brennan, Valimaki, Knapp, Horschel, and Bez for certain, So those are guys that are going to be playing in those non-sigs to start off with.
The one that I could see having the most issues here is actually Farmers for this team.
Xander will play Farmers, Brennan, Valimaki, Knapp.
I think you'll need one. Like you'll need to have one of Scheffler, Schauffele, or Rory play Farmers.
Yeah, doesn't Schauffele go play Farmers?
Yes, but the schedule is different this year. Like that is what people have done in the past. I don't think is necessarily indicative of what they've done, what they're going to be doing this year, because the schedule has changed.
Correct. Don't you think though that Xander, he's played heavy schedules to start off the year? He's gone what? Amex, Farmers, WM, and then the 2 signatures, and then you'll skip Cognizant.
Yes, but where Farmers is in between now, and it's just you have the back-to-back weeks with the signature events, I think is the biggest thing now.
Yeah. It's the start of a season. These guys have been resting, and if you can't just play 5 tournaments to start your PGA Tour season correctly, I'm going to be disappointed in you. And it looks like I'm going to be quite disappointed in a lot of guys. The crazy thing is, these people that decide not to go and play lots of golf early, if you don't get off to a hot start, you're in trouble, man. Like this,
yeah, but
the way the
but
schedule
if you're a
pans
signature event,
out,
you're not. That's not true, because you could just be Ricky, top 10 one signature event, and be like, yeah, I'm fine.
Correct. No, I'm saying like the DP World Tour guys that are playing in Dubai and things like that. The majority of their starts, you're getting 5 non-signature event starts in the final 2 rounds of this contest. Like you got to get your bread early.
This guy says Adam Svensson's a great pick if you hate money. Disagree. Watch out for that's own Adam Svensson, sponsored by the same guy I'm sponsored by.
Svensson, Pat. See, I don't even have Svensson playing the waste management. I don't think he's not ranked high enough to get into that tournament.
It's fine
because he's a totally different tier of guys. Right?
He's in. He's
outside
card.
the top 100.
Yeah, but he got his card.
He's outside the top 100.
There's more than 100 guys in these events.
120.
Yeah,
but the top 100 are going to be taking it, and there's guys that are past winners, like Max Homers and things, taking their spots.
Sure, there's probably 60 spots available
in some of them, but the waste management, there's a lot of them.
So let's see. This is team number 2.
The way I have it, I don't have him playing it. So,
you also have guys playing tournaments I know they're not playing. So what does that mean?
Okay, fine.
Like, what do you think? That everyone inside the 75 of the top 100 is playing in Phoenix? We got someone else. Someone just joined the line, I think.
80.
Keep going.
Who's this?
So Sky and Blickle are both on. We can fight it out with these guys.
OWGR.
Welcome in, Sky
going
and
3 wide.
What's up, boys?
What's up, guys?
Do you think that Adam Svensson will play Phoenix?
Gut answer says yes.
Yeah. Does he do anything of relevance if
Phoenix? It was good seeing you guys. Thanks for the stream, Pat.
Hi, Byron.
Are you actually leaving, Byron? Are you butthurt now?
No. I've got thicker skin than that.
I don't know.
Byron, do you think he doesn't play Phoenix?
Yeah. There's only 120 people playing Phoenix.
Yeah, and 50 of the top 100 will probably end up playing.
Yeah.
So
I
if
don't
that's
know.
the case,
and the best part about this is no one's going to know who's right until the Phoenix Open.
So if you guys take a look at some of these teams, Sky, we'll start with you. when you take a look at how these teams were drafted. I mean, look at your influence on Bobby Mack going pick number 5 overall. How dare you?
I was going to come in hot today and say you're still too low. I think he's a smash. I think we're sitting here a week from now and he's the best player in the Sony Open field.
Currently not committed to Sony.
I don't
But
think
we
he's
don't know
playing the
anybody
Sony
committed to the Sony, right?
That's not true.
I mean, our guy has the updates. Let's see. Nick Taylor, right? That's the one.
He's
Nick
also not
Taylor
on the
is
entry
not.
list.
Nick Taylor
On
has
the
not been
Dubai.
on the official commitment list yet. He's on the likely to play list.
Yep.
As I
Okay.
said before, the only commitments that I've got so far to Sony are Kitayama, Henley, Harmon, Keegan, Stevens, Hoagie, Bridgman, Siwoo, and Campbell of the signature event guys.
Yeah. Let me pull JH's up here. Cross reference.
If you go to the DP World Tour entry list and you search for Bobby Mack for the first tournament in Dubai, he's playing that, which I think is Sony week, and then the second one he's not on that, which is obviously the Amex, which he's committed to.
Okay, so that makes a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what Blickle, what team do you like here?
Well, I am cut off from seeing the top,
Yeah.
but I like I think the best pick of the first 2 rounds is Straka as, what is that, 9?
That's us.
Yeah, I
us.
have so much Straka. Like, to me, he's a top 3 pick, and yeah, anytime you can get him this late, I think is awesome.
Although, Sky, we've been going back and forth before you guys jumped on about Cognizant, how I think you're going to see a lot of guys skip Cognizant that you would expect to play.
I think that was one of the sneaky best points you had when the schedule was flipped, that I didn't realize it, because I totally agree. To line up 6-7 weeks in a row for those guys, like I don't think it makes a lot of sense. A Henley, a Cam Young. I mean, Sepp would probably be the one to do it, but I fear the Cognizant a lot in regards to being able to get a full roster if you're looking at superstar heavy teams.
So if you had, Alex, you like Scheffler, Burns, Straka as 1, 2, 3, or Scheffler, Griffin?
Honestly,
Straka?
I think Siwoo and Straka are kind of interchangeable. So I guess I would say I think Straka is a top 4 pick instead of a top 3 pick, because I think, there have been times where I've taken Siwoo or Burns ahead of Straka. And the other thing there is, like, even if I think that Straka is a top 3 or 4 pick, doesn't mean I always take him in the top 4, because I know I'm going to get a ton of him at 6, 7, 8, 9 in other drafts. So I don't need to hammer him every single time that I have a top 3 pick.
And Sky, we had this discussion a little bit earlier about how I set my rankings list, just how I wanted to have it in like the side tab, like as we're going through. That auto drafting can be a bit wonky with it, but I just kind of have it situated with tiers of guys that I like to pick in certain places now, rather than probably the actual order that I want to pick them. Be like, oh, I need this type of guy. I need this type of guy. And just having them all merged together, I find visually helpful when I'm doing it by hand. But do you have any insights on how to properly utilize that rankings tab?
I'm doing the best because I auto draft a lot and pretty much have filled up the lobby with what's available there, just to try to beat ADP more or less early. What I've done to try to set rankings is basically, I mean, at ETR, we've done the physical fantasy point projection per event, but I've added in multipliers for non-signature events as well as round 4 events is what I've done, from like you get, 1.5 worth of points if you're pretty much committed to play the Amex, or if you're going to show up in Canada, to try my best. Cause I agree with that heavy conversation you and Alex had on the last show in regards to, there is a lot of ways once a certain guy is drafted, you should shift. It's like in my head, it's almost like a playoff best ball type of thing where the NFL, it's very similar to how you need to draft that way. And since you and I spoke, I updated my rankings even more to get the non-signature guys that boost. But those back-end teams probably they're enough for signature events, like 6 guys in them, but they're probably not superstar enough for round 4, if that makes sense.
It does, but then you're kind of banking on, if you're going to draft teams that way, I think that you need to have confidence that like 1 or 2 of the guys that you've picked as the non-signature event guys just have a good year.
Exactly. That's what you have to get that way. Yes.
So I put my exposures up on the screen right now. This is between the PME Open, which I did draft a little bit differently, versus the Scramble, Blickle. How much of this matches up with what you have, or none of it?
So I'm mostly in slow drafts, and I haven't gotten to the back end of drafts a lot. I'm basically only doing the $50 this year. So I'm not going to have my back end where like my super high exposure is going to come just yet, but I'm going to have a lot of Keith. I think you're going to be higher on Knapp than I am. But I'm going to have a ton of Keith. I'm going to have a ton of Kirk. I love the Fitzpatrick play. I love Keegan and Nick Taylor. So we have a lot of overlap here, even if I'm not going to be where you are on that.
Yeah, Byron, my Fitzpatrick exposure basically all came early when he was going in round 10.
I think he's still a really good value.
What, the 10th best player in the world going in round 10? Like, yeah, just snap him up all the time.
If you
I do want to chat, Pat, about, it's kind of sad. Do you think Knapp's going to be like the same guy after like losing his girlfriend?
Maybe he's even better.
You know, like that's to me a massive concern. Maybe he plays with vigor, you know, but to me it's like I think he's going to be playing with a heavy heart. So I'm a little down on him a little bit.
I mean, I hadn't considered that. I try not to think about things like that when we're just doing a pure fantasy draft, because I have no idea how that affects anyone, and it affects everyone differently.
I think for every argument you can make it that how it's going to hurt him, you could make the same argument that how it's going to help him. Because
so Sky, at the back end of your drafts, how like I've been now trying to actively diversify a little bit with some of, especially in the Scramble, with some of the guys that I'm taking towards the back end, where I still have Knapp and Mitchell. Like I have a lot of Griot towards the back end now. There's some other guys that I'm taking, like Eckroat. Kirk is going a little bit earlier, but Eckroat as a last round pick. Kevin Roy, Kevin Yu, Ben Ann, Billy Horschel, like those type of guys. Who are the guys at the back end that you like?
They're twins, Rasmus and Nikolai. I think potentially, I mean, ADP is probably a little bit higher than maybe the back end for Rasmus, but if I zoomed out and looked at who I think are the best players that are not like qualified for signature events, probably need to play more events because of the structure now this year with less events, and are the best birdie makers, like almost on tour. I think both of those guys are smashes where they are ADP wise right now.
How do you construct a roster around them though, knowing that you might not get a ton from them early? Like, do they fill a certain spot on your team? Like before you guys came on, Byron and I were talking about that, you know, on teams where I've drafted Rory or Fitzpatrick, like I feel like I can't take Wrighton or Marco Penge at the end because I'm just giving up too much early.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of, again, when I went and did a little bit more of that boost for the round one type of commitments, I think my teams are just passing on a lot of superstar value early. And so then Rasmus, I think he would be like an example of a guy I probably need to break out and get into some of the bigger events throughout the year. I could pull up, like if we talk that big scramble, let's see if I can look through my last team. Let's see here. Okay, so it went Michael Kim. I don't have Rasmus on this one. Let's see.
Find a Rasmus team.
Okay. Michael Kim. I have a lot of Michael Kim. Bob, McNeely, Gerard, Harmon, Novak, Kiefer, Kitayama, Højgaard, Cauley, Yu, Wrighton is how it went.
Okay.
Is that just not star heavy enough? Because I think it's going to cover the signature events.
Okay, your signature events are going to be fine. I would worry about, like, have you added it up? Like, are you going to get full Amex and Tory? I lost Sky. Sky went on mute.
Yeah, I think ETR is paying for his Wi-Fi. They don't want to give us the perfect rankings.
Everyone just ETR doesn't make any money anymore because all their subs win all like the $2 million. But yeah, you've hit mute, Sky, on your thing. There you go.
Can you hear me now? I mean, I got like, in between a nap trying to get on here, living the dream. Let's see. Okay. I think that team, if I look at it, I think Bob, I went and looked at this, Byron. So I would double check on the current Dubai Invitational. He's not on there for 26. So I don't see him on either of those events. So I think Bob carries a
Interesting.
lot early still for that team. So if I look at that and then you see, because that updates a lot. Like I don't know when they lock it compared to the others. But then if I look at a McNeely, so I have Mav
not on that Sony list, by the way.
I have him Farmers. I guess I think there's still a chance he would play Sony. He wasn't a player. I mean, he's one of the ones that probably gets a little bit difficult to predict in regards to being a new tier this year, right?
Yeah, but he's old money Mav, so he doesn't need to go out there and grind. Let's put it that way. Blickle, you ever play with Mav McNeely?
I didn't play with Mav, no.
Is he younger or older than you?
I think younger.
Wow, that's crazy.
How old is he?
I don't know. I in my mind he's like 30, but maybe he's not.
Let's see.
Mav McNeely is 30 years old.
30, yeah.
By the way,
he's younger.
Well, let's do a draft.
when I looked up
Go ahead.
Bobby Mack, he was in the Dubai tournament, and now that Sky's mentioned it, I've gone and looked. He's no longer on that list. So maybe he is now playing the Sony. I literally did this a week ago. Okay, so like I have the screenshots to prove it too. So that's one question. And then I have Blickle, a question for you. Sorry, Pat, I'm hijacking your stream.
No, do it.
For the,
this
for
is
the
why
big
everyone's
scramble.
on roundtable.
Mm-hmm.
Big scramble. You can't have the same rankings as the normal scramble, right? For that tournament, or do you have what are you doing for the difference?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the differences are big, but you definitely do need to make some changes. I think like one of the biggest differences, and honestly, like I think this is a even larger conversation just about PGA Best Ball versus like NFL Best Ball and things of that nature. But the big difference to me is there are a lot fewer people in the final round. So you have to do a little bit less to maximize your chances of winning in round 4. And you can then prioritize getting to round 4 a little bit more than you do in the big scramble. Where the big scramble, like I think any team in the big scramble that isn't really prioritizing the final round is probably not built as well as it could be, because although like, of course you have to get there, if you're not live to actually win, that team is negative EV, like just like guaranteed.
Explain
In
that.
the big scramble.
Yeah.
In
In the regular scramble.
Go through that a little bit. Explain why that's
in
the
the
case.
in the scramble. Yeah.
Yeah. In the scramble, I think there's something like, what is it? 470, something like that, people in the final round. And I think in the big scramble, it's 25.
I think it's 260 something.
261. Okay. Yeah. So 25 seat final here in the big scramble. Pat, can you click the scramble?
Yeah. The scramble we got
261. Yeah.
261.
Byron was all over it. So you have a tenth, less than a tenth of the competition in the final round in the big scramble than you do in the scramble. And so if you don't have a chance to actually win big money because you're going up against teams that just have more guys playing week after week in that fourth segment, then you just don't have any positive expected value because so much of the money is going to first place here.
See, that makes a bunch of sense. Oh, I did want to throw this out to people. If you go over to X right now, I've pinned a tweet. I'm giving away 2 more free entries into the Mayo Cup. All you need to do is retweet the one that's up there right now, and then send me if you retweet it, then reply with your username of an entry that's already in or a screenshot, whatever works for you. And then I'll give away one winner when it's 50% full, and it's 31% full now. And then again, when it's 75% full. So just continue to spread the awareness of the one and done. That's all I'm looking for here. Let's draft a team together. With Sky had to jump off, it looked like. He'll be back in a minute, maybe not. There he is. There's Sky. So Sky, we're going to try to do a draft all together. We're going to see as a 3-1 vote for who we pick. We'll see if this works.
Yep.
And we've lost Alex now. He's just left the picture. So I might leave next too.
Okay, so so Blickle's ducked out for a minute. He didn't want the pressure here. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get pick 1.
But the big scramble, for round 4, you're treating it like cash. For the scramble, you're treating it like a GPP. to get to round 4, basically, to
And,
summarize what Blickle just mentioned there, which
and
is
if you-
interesting. I like the different contests.
Ooh, pick 2. So there should be on Monday, guys, a new tournament hitting the lobby, a second PME Open, 3 max 150 a shot.
Nice.
No rake.
Love that.
So
I think
I think-
What's that? Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think the one that I would consider altering rankings on would be the PME Open, because it's the 2 of 6. Like, I
Yes.
think that vaults up the Rorys, the Xanders, the Ludwigs. Like, that's the one.
So I basically went like in that tournament, which isn't open anymore. Like I did prioritize. Like I tried to leave the first 4 rounds with like 2 of Tommy, Rory, Fitz, and who's the other guy? Totally forget now.
Ludwig.
And Ludwig, like just 2 of those guys, just knowing that they're going to play 5 of whatever towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what are we doing to pick 2? Sam Burns?
I'm good with that.
You're with me.
I'm always going Ben Griffin at 2, but you guys decide.
Yeah, you've been voted off the island on Ben. You already got me a Ben Griffin team.
No, like I said, I stuck around to get disagreed upon here, so we might as well I might share my true, honest opinions here, so you guys can finally kick me off the island.
Hey, it's if we can get a vote, right? Well, we'll get a 3-1 on something. If someone wants to make a suggestion, as we get to pick number 11, we timed out a pick last time, so we're gonna try not to do that this time.
I do have it Siwoo, Griffin, and Burns. Like, that's my current order. But I think like they're all coin flips.
And I go Burns, Siwoo, Griffin, Michael Kim, Sung Jae. And we are not getting any of those guys. So the best available for us is going to be that like Cam Young, Spawn. I don't know if I have a single share of JJ Spawn.
I don't think I do either.
It's so high.
Yeah.
I got him 7.
He's
I
a
think he's
top
the
10
play.
player in the world, people. What are we not understanding
because of what
about
you don't
this?
get his last year points, Byron.
Well, he got
That's the
taken.
thing, like, to me, Spawn is the
All right,
big
we're on
one.
the clock. Harry Hall?
Tommy?
Cam's gone. I mean, I would. I mean, I like Stevens. It's a stretch, though. I would probably go Tommy and then try to get Stevens on the next
All right.
one.
I'd go Xander here, but I'm good with whatever.
All right, so I heard 2 Tommies. Tommy gets the pick. You got outvoted. So let's pull that up there. So we have Burns and Tommy to
We can
start.
go Xander still.
We could go Xander, but then we got to really rely on the.
He's gone.
And now he's
Nope.
gone. Harry Hall is. So you like Stevens more than Harry Hall, Sky?
I do. Yes.
Do you like him more than Nick Taylor
Yes.
and Pendrith?
Yep. I have Stevens, my favorite. I think Stevens could lead this style again.
Really?
No, I like Harry Hall, yeah, too.
All right, we'll go with Byron, so he doesn't feel neglected. We'll have Harry Hall as our third.
Don't leave
pick.
the stream. Thank you. That's a sympathy pick.
So now we need to do some shuffling here because we have 0.
Now,
Sony,
Stevens, I like too.
and with pick C.
See,
This is where I
someone's
default-
listening right there. They got him.
Yeah, so but I would have defaulted to Bridgman here to get that cognizance, to get the Sony cognizant.
I don't think I've seen anyone go as high or as low as Stevens. Like, he has a massive, massive range of where people are drafting him.
So Ludwig is still out here. We're 3 picks away. What are you guys thinking?
I
think
like
it's
Brennan here.
Yeah, I think it's one of these 4: Bridgman, Poston, Herman, or Brennan.
Yeah, I would. I'm like, I mean, I'm a Brennan believer. I thought that Alex said some interesting things ball speed wise. I mean, I have Poston raw ranking better, but that's just,
Brennan's
Brennan,
projected for 0 points. Does that concern you?
No, it does not.
It is funny to go back and look at the
I
teams
didn't
where I've-
see that. What? Do not draft him then. Don't draft him if he's projected 0 points. People.
So that should get us a Sony cognizant start.
Just the best player from the cave.
So would you guys rather go? I guess maybe this decision will be made for us. I think it's between Bridgman and Herman here. Because Herman gets you Valero. I think Bridgman gets you Sony and cognizant.
I've got them side by side.
Anyone?
I actually prefer Fitz, but I would
think we
go
gotta go
Harmon over
Bridgman.
Bridgman.
Okay. Harmon over Bridgman. I think Fitz is probably there
We
late.
can wait. We can
This
wait.
is sort of by my rankings, not by ADP.
Oh, true.
And I just think that we give up too much here. Like, we need to start filling out round one. And if we take Fitz, it's going to be real difficult. Like, Fitz and Tommy are a tough duo to put together. And you get a lot of the Fitz stuff with Burns. Because you get Canada out of it. So we're back up here in a bit. I can sort by ADP if that makes it easier for everyone. Just to see, like, where the actual guys are going. Because this is sort of the dead range for me. Like, honestly, out of this range, I usually end up with some Gerard, some Denny, and some Kirk. And Kirk just went, and some Thorbjornsson. These other guys I'm just not touching at all. What about you guys?
Gerard's the one for me.
Gerard with this pick, you think?
I have him substantially higher than anyone basically around.
Byron,
Yeah,
Alex?
The guy went to
I've got no
Mauritius
qualms.
to try to get
I've
into
just
the
drafted
Masters.
a lot of him already, so I'm cool.
Yeah, well, this isn't your team. This is my team.
I know. That's what I'm telling you, is why I'm going with. But I drafted a lot of him when I didn't realize he was top 50. Now I think he's going to play a little less.
Yeah, you know, like as we kind
What
of
about
hashed out,
Ryan?
I'm on Team Sky with this one, where I think that he's just going to grind. Like he's getting his chance and
Okay.
he's going to fire. So do we want to take like a Grazerman?
Rye
or a
plays the
Knapp
farmers,
here?
and we don't have a lot of farmers right now at all.
Well, Grazerman and Knapp fill that out for us. So does Wyndham Clark. 5 seconds. Say a name.
Nap, go nap
yeah.
again.
You don't need to sell me on Jake Knapp.
I like the strategy at this point of drafts. Like, I don't think you have to go by ADP. I'm perfectly okay taking like 4 or 5 guys now that no one's going to take in the scramble, just because then you get the potential for some low owned guys.
Yeah, and just you can get guys out of order too, because as I can sort by my rankings again. So if we do need, let's see here, we have like the Harris English, Lucas Glover, Dietrich tier of guys still going around, and Keegan just went off.
Damn.
So Keegan's starting to get drafted higher at this point, finally.
Yeah.
So it's back to us.
Billy?
You want to go Billy?
Billy's going to play like 7 straight probably.
I mean, it's safe in that sense. He's there.
And
He's got 3 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Sony Colonial, and if he's not in signature events by the end of the year, he'll play the John Deere.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll
this is
probably
what
get some sponsors exemptions too.
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm getting in the Rasmus, Nikolai, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson.
Can we afford to take those guys right now with the team that we've constructed? Or are we going to miss out on like John Deere? That's my one concern.
I kind of
They
feel
may
like
have to
they
play
might have to play.
John Deere.
Yeah. I think Sky alluded to it earlier, but a really important point is we're going to see different schedules this year because of the change in exemptions and how many tour cards there are. So guys are going to play events that they never played before. And the kind of the weird wrinkle to that is guys who are struggling are going to have to play more than the guys who are doing really well for you in early events.
Yeah, that's kind of odd to start tinkering
Like
with.
a
So we
Jonathan
need to-
Vegas.
So we have 3 picks left, and we need to fill. I think that we need to fill John Deere if we want to really gear towards round 4, right? Or do you guys disagree?
Oh, I think that's a good point.
So if we go by my ranks, we'll hit that tier of guys that I have listed here. Where is it? So we're into the PME tier of Eckroat, Griot, Hubbard, Kevin Roy, that type of player, Vince Whaley. Who do you guys like the best of them?
Just trying to see who have the best.
Vince
players.
Whaley. Like Vince Whaley made every cut, I think, since the Valero.
All
Like
right,
he's
Vince
going to
Whaley.
he's just playing weekend golf all the time.
All right, we'll take your boy Vince Whaley. He's on the team.
He's a volume
Like
bet.
Shipley, Mac Meisner, Patrick Rogers, Svensson, Eric Cole goes from pick 101 to undrafted, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But he's going to play in all
Good.
these stupid events.
Gary Kigo,
Yeah, it's fine.
not in majors. You know, like there's
Stinger, is he going to be a stinger?
Gary-
That's what Pat's fear is live, right?
Yeah. I worry about Liv with him.
Okay, back on the clock.
if I get burnt by Liv, I get burnt by Liv. You know, like I'm not going to put that into my situation.
Listen, I think you need to be considering these things.
I think it's worth considering this far down the board just because like none of these guys are likely game changers. So you don't need to take on that risk.
So we have one pick
Right.
left. We
You
should be
went
good.
Eckroat there, right?
What's that?
Did you just go Eckroat?
I went Eckroat, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Eckroat's almost a guarantee for Cognizant because he's won it. He plays CJ Cup regardless every year, and he seems to play John Deere.
I like Alex's point of like down here, you kind of want guys that are undrafted, like not 100% drafted, right? So you can almost roll.
Do we have? What do you guys make of Brian Campbell? Is he just too shitty to take?
I haven't taken any of them.
It's just he fills major signature events and crappy events. We don't need another signature event guy or a major guy. So we're on the clock with one more pick. We need a John Deere start from someone. Would you rather go like Hoagie, Hubbard?
Yeah.
I think pick whoever you want that you think is playing the John Deere here.
I'll take Chandler Phillips. He likes birdies.
Chan, man.
But like this is sort of like the rotation of the last round pick guys that I tried to do.
Guys.
Penge goes last, so I want to see how these teams ended up with, especially with how like Penge was taken. So he was with pick one. So it's let's take a look at some of these teams: Scheffler, Xander, Spieth, Poston, Hideki, Thorbjornsen, Denny, English, Thompson, Kevin Yu, Ricky Fowler, Penge. If that team can get out of round one, it's really good.
Yeah. It's just not round one heavy at all.
No, like, so what do we got for Sony starts? Let's see here. Maybe Spieth.
Yeah.
Maybe. Poston's not currently in the Sony. So let's say maybe. So let's give them one for those two. Maybe you'll get lucky. Thorbjornsen probably plays. Denny's not currently in. English isn't currently in. Davis Thompson, Kevin Yu. And maybe you get
Davis
lucky
will
with
have to play.
What's that?
DT has to play the Sony if he wants to get into signature events.
That's why I counted him.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so he has 4, maybe 5 at best for Sony, and maybe 4 at Cognizance. That's going to be like that. I feel like that's going to be tough to advance if you only have 4 of 6 in both those events. Would you guys agree? Disagree?
Yes, I would agree.
I agree.
So that one is, but again, if somehow Spieth and Poston, and I mean, Hideki's a former winner. Maybe Hideki shows up. Like you need to get lucky with some scheduling breaks with that. We have our team that we've tried to talk about. Let's see, the FK Coolers. Where do they have? Stevens is playing Sony. Bridgman's playing Sony. I'm guessing McGreevy will just because he's fucking Max McGreevy. Kiefer will probably play. So he needs one of Valimaki.
Oh, I like that lineup a lot, actually.
Do you? Okay, explain why.
Well, it's Ben Griffin.
That's why. It's Ben Griffin and Kiefer. That's why.
All right, we got Siwoo Spawn, Rory Aberg, Fitz team. Is that too much of guys not playing early here in the middle, or do you think he did a good job of filling it out? So around Rory, Ludwig, and Fitz, Siwoo and Spawn. Like Siwoo, there's certain guys that I think that if you compare with Rory, Ludwig, and Fitz, it makes way more sense. And I think that Siwoo and Michael Kim, maybe Sungjae, might be those guys.
A tweet always stands out about JJ Spawn to me, and Byron like tweeted, it was when he got to like Mayakoba, right? He was like, where are the beers? Like, I think the guy wants to go on vacation and golf while there. So he's probably like, I think there's a decent chance. Like, I wouldn't be shocked. Still Sony and some of the weird ones. He could still do it. He was in the playoff last year at the Sony.
I think I saw on JJ's Instagram, he's in Sony already. He's in Hawaii.
Again, he wasn't one of the early commits to the tournament. So just throwing that out there for the moment. Kirk, yes. Keegan, yes. Hughes, yes. Bez, yes, probably. So that's pretty good. But again, like you have a Morikawa on here too, and a Nikolai Højgaard. I would expect Højgaard starts. When you check Sky, the updated DP list, I would assume that Nikolai's on it.
Let's see.
After almost winning the DP World Tour Championship over there, I figured he'd stick there.
As of now, Rasmus Højgaard is not, and Nikolai is. Yeah.
So he has Nikolai on. Maybe Rasmus was. I guess we took Rasmus, so he couldn't have him. But
Neergaard Peterson is currently on that list too.
Okay, and Penge isn't.
Let me keep going up. Penge is not. Wrighton is not. So the interesting thing to me with Penge and Wrighton is at this time last year, they were like fringe DP World Tour status guys. They weren't even in the Dubai events, I don't think, via like where they came in ranking wise. So it's not like they're longtime Ryan Foxes who always went to Dubai. They could just be like, I'm just going to choose to start the season on the PGA Tour and commit here.
Well, if that's the case, then those guys go way up the rankings. If they decide to play Sony and just start firing through. So maybe I do need to get more of those guys, especially where they're going now in like the final, like one of the two in the final 2 rounds. And then all of a sudden you might have a stud on your hands. So yeah.
And Penge has a little bit of the buffer because he's got the 2 signatures off the gate. But if Wrighton plays well early, if they're conscious about it, right, he's got to be top 30. Is that it, Byron, right, to get into those early signatures? And he's 31 right now. So if he plays the first 4 events, he could get himself into Pebble probably pretty easily if he plays okay.
Grazerman's in the first 2 anyway, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be right around there. Do you think Bryson will show up and just play them?
Rory said he'd welcome Bryson back today.
Well, I mean, spoiler.
Absolutely. I would.
What? You just said absolutely. They didn't say anything.
Oh, absolutely. Draft Bryson.
Yeah. But Michael Kim kind of said the same thing.
I'm screwing over these listeners.
I asked him that, like, do you care if Brooks comes back after getting all the live money? He's like, no, not really. He's like, just have him back. It's better for the tour.
I hope more like that.
I mean, Blickle, you probably know a few more of the pros and those like grinding types than we do. Do you think it's the higher end guys who care? Do you think that anyone cares? Because like Billy Horschel seems to care.
Yeah, I think it's the guys who could have taken a pretty good payday and chose not to. And like Michael Kim probably doesn't fit in that category, but
I asked him. I asked him about Liv. I was like, "Did Liv?" He's like, "No,
yeah.
Didn't happen."
Yeah. And like that makes sense, right? Like if you feel like you turned down millions and millions of dollars, and then they end up getting to play all the events that you chose to play instead, like I can see how that would tick some guys off. But I think hopefully a lot of people just recognize that, hey, you know, maybe Brooks, Bryson, like we can be a little lenient with those guys just because it's obviously so good for golf in general.
Yeah, but I think there's like you only have a handful. I know, Byron, when we talked about it, you said Cam Smith. I don't think that anyone cares if Cam Smith comes back or not.
I say Cam Smith.
Oh, was it you and I who were talking?
Yeah,
Smith
and I recognize that like I probably like Cam Smith. Well, at least watching Cam Smith more than most.
I think it's sort of like a tier. It's like Bryson, Brooks, and Rahm. What's that, Byron?
Is Brooks even in the same tier though? I don't think so. Like
as who?
Like are people tuning into the Waste Management to watch Brooks Koepka play? Like
I mean, Brooks is one of the 10 most recognizable golfers on the planet, so I say yes.
But if you inject him into that field right now,
talk to random people.
I need to get out of my office. You know, I need to do more Sky stuff. You know, wherever you are right now, can I just come visit you, dude? I need a vacation.
Yes, Sarasota, Florida. It's beautiful right now.
Okay, I'm on my way.
Maybe I'm off on that. I mean, Sky, do you think that Brooks is like a top 10 name draw in golf?
Yeah, I put him fringe. I mean, like from the player standpoint, like talent, I guess at least what I expect of him is not top 10 level, but I think name is there. Yeah.
Maybe that's why they want him back, because they're like, well, he can't really compete anymore, but he's a good draw.
He's like the perfect one probably to get back for those guys. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bryson and Rahm are clearly the cut above, but it'd be like saying that they wouldn't want Dustin back if Dustin wanted to come back, or Phil. Like you're better off running Phil back out there. Like, if you put if they had trouble selling tickets to the Farmers, and you could said that you could have Cam Smith or Phil come play in your tournament, the answer is Phil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of a sliding scale with some of these guys. All right, let's go back to these teams, try to take a look at it, and then we'll do one more, and we'll get everyone out of here. Michael Kim, Bobby, this is the Sky team. Michael Kim, Bobby Mack, Nick Taylor, Hoey, Nico. That's a strong start despite not having superstars, right?
Like this is where I would lean there, like the favorite probably to get out of round one if you just look at the first 5 rounds, right?
Yeah,
So
I
how
agree.
many of those teams that like are like a team 4, the Go Arizona Cardinals, like how many are really going to make it deep? Like you are going to be super lucky with a Rory team, not lucky, but like low owned Rory teams, right? Did anyone have the ownership from round 4 of last year?
Byron, do you have that? Don't sleep
Yeah,
on Go
it's
AZ
in my-
Cards,
in
by
my
the way. I met
package.
him when I was in Kansas City because I think he had 2 teams or 2 or 3 teams in the finals of the Dog Bowl, and dude was a party animal.
Love that.
See that other team that we talked about. So let me ask you guys about
last year.
what's that?
Sorry, there's a delay. Yeah, I'm not meaning to interrupt you guys all the time. There were 9,394 Rory McIlroy lineups in round 1. In round 2, only 485. In round 3, there were 86, and then of the 260, there were only 10 Rorys to make it through to round 4.
But those were the best lineups.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably a little bit aggressive with now finishing points in, right?
Mhm.
So it's going to be it's going to be more than what last year was.
Yes.
But still, that's low.
And there's no Century, which Rory got dinged hard for as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
he's less of a liability this time round.
Can I throw out, maybe you guys are all better at math than I am. I think people are wildly overrating the finishing points.
I don't think so.
Like, it's what, 5.5 birdies?
For a win, you're saying?
Yeah, like 5.5 birdies equals a win. Only one guy can win.
I think what it does is it really brings up the ceiling in the weeks where guys aren't making a ton of birdies. And so like having a top 5 finish, or especially a win in a low birdie event, is now going to be actually worth something, instead of last year where it was like, a win in the US Open was as valuable as like a missed cut at, one of the hit and giggle birdie fest type events. So
Sure, but I does that dramatically change though? Like, let's say you come 7th at the U.S. Open and the winning score is, like last time at Shinnecock, I think it was +2 or even par. So let's say 7th place finishes +5. Is that going to be all that different than coming 87th at the John Deere Classic?
No, but I think the reason it matters more is because you're going to have certain guys who consistently play harder events and consistently get finishing position bonus points. So it's not that like any one time that they get, let's say 10 bonus points, that's not going to affect it. But over the year, that means that guy is scoring 100 more for you than he did last year. And guys who are just playing a lot and the easier courses and not getting many finishing position points, they're pretty much scoring the same amount this year as they did last year.
Like, could you release the best and worst bets, Byron, and like the amount of top 10 percentage, that kind of thing that a lot of guys got? But like Sung Jae and Morikawa would have been terrible last year in some of these, just not picking up any of these points along the way. Whereas these finishing points, although Scotty won so many times, just the amount of top 5s that he had would have elevated him up into that stratosphere. But outside of Scotty, like, who does this really benefit to a point that you think moves them up so much? Be like, oh yeah, they're really good, we need them. Like Tommy, maybe?
I don't think it moves anyone a ton, to your point. I think it, in a weird way, I think it matters more just for like the overall integrity of the contest than it does for any one person's individual ranking, if that makes sense. Like at the end of the year, the teams that did best are going to be teams who had players who outperformed their expectations, whereas last year that didn't matter as much as just being right about who was playing how often.
Well, the real ripper is in your Discord, Byron. He said that finishing points boosted Scotty up there with Stam Stevens as like the top overall player. But just outside of, who would it be if it's not Scotty? Let's just throw Scotty out of this equation. Who does it help so much that you'd have to draft them?
Russell Henley finished inside the top 10 53% of the time last year. Rory, Tommy Fleetwood finished 44% of the time. Ben Griffin, 4 out of every 10 starts as a top 10. If you're looking at top 5s, Rory, Tommy, Scotty, those, because the top 5 is perfect. You don't want wins, because if you finish second to Scotty, you're only scoring 2 points less than him. minus the birdie or two that he made more than you too. But like top fives is where you just compound those like percentages in there, especially the majors and the SIGs when there's minimal like fraction of the pie available there to score on.
And I do think like more of the overarching point, like you could have gotten by probably with 3 of 6 in the US Open. And this just probably forces a more balanced roster, in the sense of like, I guess is maybe 15 to 20 more points if you don't find the winner and just rack up 3 extra top 20s. But the little things when those are 2 events out of every segment probably matter way more to think through now.
Well, I can't remember. Were consecutive birdies and consecutive bogeys points last year?
Think so.
Yes, it was just the like multiplier for how many under par you were, right? That was the thing they got rid of and then added in finishing points.
Yeah, but I like the consecutive birdies. Like I think that's also as fantasy football garage pointed out in the chat that like in those like stupid events that you might just make 5 birdies in a row and then that's like extra points, like found points. Whereas again, if you have like I told Byron earlier that if I was going to punt one tournament away, it would be the US Open.
Yeah, it's probably the hardest major to predict because Alex could be teeing it up for us. if we get
Are you in the player system, Alex?
No, not a chance.
I mean, I know TJ's in the chat. I know we can't do it for this year. Can we make Blickle a draftable player? Because he might play. And listen, after he wins the US Open, he'll get into all the events.
Mm-hmm. We've still got time for that major contest this year coming, We're there.
I wonder if I could even keep my US Open check, or would they say that I forfeited because I was betting on golf earlier in the year?
Oh, you better not. Then maybe you don't be too good this year in the US Open qualifiers. Then, and listen, if you don't qualify, state that as the reason. You're like, I couldn't do it anyway.
There you go.
I just wanted a good experience out here, and I'll let someone else have it. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's why I finished last in my sectional qualifier last year. I was punting my chance.
So TJ says, before we do the last one, TJ's with Underdog. He's been my liaison with this, really been helping. That looks weird on the screen. Let's take that down. The craziest thing about last year's scoring system was the score to par system, which weighted things even more towards the birdie fest, and we got rid of that. So I do agree with that, but I wouldn't go out of my way to not target the birdie fest guys. I think having more of those guys will end up being the more fruitful strategy as long as by the time you get to round 4 that you can cover your starts in the bigger tournaments.
Yeah, agreed completely.
All right, let's do one more draft and we'll call
it
a
day.
There
9 people that got 2 birdies worth of finishing position points last year on average. 9.
So explain that.
It means that if you just had one random golfer get 2 extra birdies, the finishing position points that the rest of the field would have got, there was only 9 people in the entire contest that would have got more than that, like on average. I did a terrible job explaining that. It's insignificant unless you have like top end guys, basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So it makes the good players a bit more valuable. Like the good, like name playing well in majors guys more valuable.
And that's what Underdog would want. They don't want to have, Rory not matter in a sense.
Yeah. Or have Eric Cole be the first overall pick.
Yeah.
But this is Byron. This is one of my worries about Spawn and Griffin and maybe some of the other, like Michael Kim's playing enough like goober tournaments that he's just going to keep grinding. And if he's having a down season, he'll just play more, which will effectively help us out unless he just misses every single cut. But with those guys, like treating them as superstars is a real bank on even Harry Hall where he's going. Like all of those guys may have just had their best year.
And there's a chance that they play less this year because of their new exemption status.
To defend Byron, they both went to Mayakoba to end the season after the Ryder Cup when things don't matter. Like if you're playing there and winning, I guess you do factor in the cost of them, right? That is the conversation more or less. But I expect they're going to play a lot still.
Yeah, well, like I think you hit on it. Where they're going, you now need them to do those things, and if they step back, then it really hurts you.
I agree. By the way, Sky, that I still think the most likely outcome is that they continue to play a bunch, but it can only move in one direction, right? Like they're not going to play more this year than they did last year.
Mm-hmm. And he's the second overall pick. You need that to happen. Yes.
Griffin got married after Cabo, by the way.
He might have got married there, right? That wedding looked electric.
I think he got married there. Yeah. Weren't there monkeys and like Arabian princes on flying carpets and all sorts of stuff at that wedding?
Yeah, I thought I saw you in the background too, actually.
TJ's in the chat does ask, can we,
I officiated it. But
can we get a John or a J? Oh, I can't do that. My wife and kids are upstairs, so I can't yell James Hahn too loudly. But Michael Kim does bring up Michael Kim. This was the best Michael Kim interview by far. Like usually it takes like half an hour to 40 minutes before he kind of like gets comfortable and lets loose, and we only do a 60-minute interview. From moment one, he was just dropping stories about like playing in India this year and like that wonky course and traveling over there. There is a John story that comes up at one point. Play and like speed golfing with the Cal women's team while in college to become better iron players, to simulate practicing with your heart rate up. It was awesome. But he just tons of stories from Michael Kim this time on. I'll come out on Monday morning. And I did tell him he was going as a top 10 pick in drafts, and he couldn't believe it. He just straight up said bad pick. One more. We'll do a draft.
Hey, AJ Brown told someone not to play him, and he went nuts after that. So
yeah. Once I did explain to him that a lot of it has to do with like how often you play, he kind of understood what was going on. And he did say
confirmation he gave us, like that goes so far.
Oh yeah. And I asked him when we should use him in one and done. He said Phoenix. So one more draft to go. We got the second pick again. So who did we take last time? Burns?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take someone different this time. Should we start with Siwoo and see how that works? Or did we do? Yeah, we've done 2 of these drafts. This is 3. We haven't got Siwoo yet. And there's a great conversation in the chat room right now going on about how does the extra 2 golfers affect how you guys draft. I think this is the correct answer that Retail Ripper says, is that it enhances the Rory Ludwig types because you can make up for their lack of starts.
Yep, I would totally agree. Can we try to get a draft like that if it comes back to make sense? Like I do not have many, if any, of those guys. So we can try a star heavy, like see how that looks in the back end. I'd be interested.
Yeah, it ends up with a lot of Keith Mitchell and Jake Knapp and Mackenzie Hughes and those types of guys. Although Siwoo is kind of a magic elixir to a lot of that.
Yep.
I don't know if he'll play Canada, but he'll play CJ Cup. He'll play Scotland more than likely. He might play. He played the John Deere last year. So you just might get a bunch of like really greasy starts out of Siwoo Kim, which would be nice. Or he'll leave for live and you'll be screwed. So do you want to try to do that Rory Ludwig if we have the opportunity to see how it goes?
I don't really have any of those in my portfolio, so I'd be interested, yes.
Oh, that's interesting because I have a lot of Rory.
I just couldn't get to
this
ADP
is Pat's
and
draft.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
He's in our pool though overall.
He gave me shit for saying that I have too much Ryan Gerard.
But that makes more sense why you would have more of the Hoyger.
JJ Spawn.
We're not taking Spawn. Okay, Rory we'll take with this pick. And then we can get one of, Sungjae might still. Sungjae would end up being the pick here, I think, if it does get back to us. I doubt. We'll see what LF Holmes ends up doing with his first pick of the 3rd round. So he takes Hull. Do we take Sungjae or do you want to do a Ludwig?
No, if you get Sungjae at, what are we at, 14? I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think it's the lowest I've seen Sungjae go. So we have CJ Cup pretty covered.
So we volume merchants.
What's that, sorry?
Yeah. A lot of volume.
Some serious volume now with Rory.
Yeah. So what does that make us do with this next pick then? Or is this a spot where we continue to chip away at the volume signature event guys and then we can get a Wrighton or a Rasmus later?
I feel like this needs one more star.
Hideki kind of fits that somewhat of a mold of those guys if he gets there, right?
And Hideki will play early versus late, like some of like Rory will. It's kind of a yin and yang to that. Poston helps us. I mean, we could take Fitzpatrick later on, or even Cantlay later on.
I like Fitz.
So, but I feel like we don't go Hideki and Fitz on the same team. So, like Bridgman, Poston, Harmon might be. I don't have a ton of Poston. I'm going to take Poston with this one. We'll flag Fitz, and we'll flag Wrighton.
I don't think you need to take Wrighton this or you're just saying in general.
Just to make sure that we don't forget about them.
Yes. Yep.
This is how I ended up drafting Keegan Bradley.
You're on the clock though, right here. Yes.
Yeah. See, we're back up.
I go Brennan here.
You're just Brennan every time at this spot.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have him 12th in my rankings. So when I'm getting him double that, I'll just take him over and over. He might end up being my highest exposed guy.
The problem is he might not actually be good.
It'd be really, really surprising if he's not good. I mean, he was Byron. I think you're muted. I saw you trying to say something.
Why would you say he's not going to be good, Pat? This guy's won like 4 times in the last like 12 starts.
Yeah, listen, I beat Cuss 20 times in a row. Doesn't mean I'm good. That's who he's playing on the Canadian tour.
Okay, listen.
I think that if he plays the exact same quality of golf this year that he did last year, he will be a very successful PGA Tour player. Like I think he was that far ahead of everyone.
Can I say that I like Alex Noren here?
Okay, but does Noren? Oh, I guess did Fitz go? Yeah, Fitz already went. So does Noren fit the Fitz spot for us?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do this. It's so much easier to do it off the app than off desktop.
So you're back on.
So, do we want to take a non? I mean, this isn't a bad Keegan Bradley spot. This is not a bad. I guess Knapp is already gone. Quick,
I like Keegan here.
Keegan, good with it.
As we discussed earlier, Keegan gets you a lot of starts that you might not think that you're getting from him.
Mm-hmm.
So we're tough with Cognizant right now, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have one non-signature event guy. So I think that we need to start thinking about the non-signature event guys now.
Yeah, Matt McCarty should be like one of the better players in those. I guess he's not in SIGs, is he?
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is part of this is how I did my rankings with this tier of the non-sig guys: McCarty, Horschel, you, Mitchell, and I think Jake Knapp was a part of that as well, and so was Chris Kirk, but they're already gone. So we'll go with McCarty next, if need be.
I've got a lot of Kevin Yu, too.
Yeah. But I still like this range of guy, like these two in particular, Colley and Glover, just because I know that they'll play stupid events. And then you double up with we'll go Matt McCarty in the 8th round with our pick, because we only really have room for one more signature event guy. If we can get crossover. That's like my fear
with Colley and Glover is like, we don't really need them for the SIGs, do we?
We don't, but they're just extra guys there.
But isn't like Harris English better than both those?
Yeah, but he might not play.
Yeah.
He might not. Like, I feel like with those two guys, you might get John Deere, you might get Valero. Like you just pick up scrub events, which we're actually targeting, and then you just get if Rory decides not to play a signature event, then you're not handicapped.
Yeah. That's just where I default to go to the Højgaards or something like that, is they're forced more than those two.
Yes. So do you think that Wrighton or Penge is the better play here? I think it's Wrighton, because one thing that I didn't bring up to you guys is that where Penge is in the first two signature events, that he might not play Cognizant because of it. Where Wrighton might have to play all of those.
Penge was also just taken anyway, so.
Yes, it can't even do it. Now that someone's going to take Wrighton just to piss me off. No, they didn't do it. Took Aaron Rye and said, Rye is going very late for a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on the last two picks here?
Probably need more of a grinder, right?
Yeah.
We need Valspar bad.
My favorite late guy, I think, is still available, Thigala.
Yeah, Sahith is there.
You're on the clock.
Then we'll take Sahith. Good
good
shout, Alex.
Right? Didn't Zalatoris just commit to the Amex too?
I don't think I've drafted him once.
he was the one you brought up with Sahith, though. It's basically kind of similar. They're not in anything, right? They just have the exemption for the year.
One's coming off major back surgery and keeps getting hurt.
I mean, that's fair. Fair.
And changed his swing to try and avoid it, but his swing was what made him good.
Yeah. He did have a good approach when he played in South Africa. Like, I mean, it was one event, but it did look pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
So you say that we need Valspar?
Yeah.
So Thigala, right?
So he took care of that for us.
I think the last 5 guys that we took should play in the Valspar, Keegan included. Then we just need to get lucky with one of the other guys.
Maybe Naren, maybe Brennan.
I mean, we're hoping Brennan fills a lot of these slots. So for the last pick, I think that Griot, Hughes, then Small. Griot's gone. So Hughes and Smalley make the most sense to cover all the tournaments that we need. Smalley's playing available. What's that?
Higo?
Probably.
He doesn't look.
10. 9. Okay. Not in this draft.
But Higo was already gone. I'm sorry.
No, he's gone. Okay.
But Higo's another one. He's in those first 2 SIG events, right?
Yes.
Like that puts his cog potential at best 50-50.
Sure. He could also break the slate for you, So
I mean, I just don't think that guys are going to play 17 weeks in a row, Byron.
Billy was the one. Billy's the only one that said if he got those invites, he would go 11 straight, I think Billy said.
Okay. What's changed this year is there's 120 people playing the Sony. There's minimal starting opportunities, and the schedule's short. It's tough. You got to get into the top 100 by the time the Wyndham rolls through. You got to get going early.
I just don't think that guys are going to have that many unless you're the very bottom tier of status guy, it's not going to be that hard to get starts.
I would say in a Higo example, unless he does enough in the signature events, he's probably hurting himself long-term, not playing in every other event. So it's either A, he was really good in both SIGs, or B, he wasn't good and he needs to play in the,
Yeah, Pat, I don't think the issue is that it's going to be hard for these guys to get starts. I think it's that it's almost the other way around. It's because these guys are all going to be fighting for status more than they've had to fight in the past, that they might actually then play more. And it all just feeds into I think we really, really don't know what guys are going to do in the middle of the year, especially.
For sure. But I mean, I appreciate that. I'm on one side, Byron, you're on the other, but we've picked a lane. I think you need to do that in something like this, that you need to stick with the lane that you have, because if you just, and maybe Alex, this is probably the best question for you. If you start diversifying too much and not picking a lane, you just have a bunch of teams that don't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can do it well where, as we talked about, who you're picking in the first few rounds can really dictate who you're picking late. And we just did, I think, a very good job of that, where you end up with not a ton of, a lot of different guys, but you still have a lot of diversification, but you then also have very clear paths to success within each team and within each lineup. So I think that's the kind of the way to approach it. And that makes it a little bit easier to manage all the uncertainty.
All right. Well, this was a ton of fun, guys. I appreciate you guys coming on, chatting with me.
Of course.
Always fun.
Appreciate the chat as well. Chad says, I wish Ontario had Underdog. I wish they had it too. I wish they had the one and done. I wish they still had DK. It would be great if Ontario had all of these things, because so much of my audience is in Ontario that it would be nice that I could talk about things that they actually want to hear about from time to time as well. But yeah, here we are. Thank you all for watching. Smash the like. Hit the pinned tweet on my X. It'll get you a free entry potentially into the one, and I'm giving away 2 of them on there. Sky, I know I got you one to give away to the ETR subs, and I got a few more coming down. So if you're with some of the different providers, there might be a free giveaway for a one and done entry in the Mayo Cup coming your way. But the big thing is you need to have the entry first, then you get more on top of it. So go to fantasygolfchampionships.com. Hit the description, find it all there, and use code Mayo at Underdog to jump in. All my content is up at betspurtsgolf.com. It's all free, and I have my rankings updated as of today. Let's go around the horn. Byron, you tell everyone where they can get your stuff.
At the Model Maniac Patreon. I'm sorry, I'm dealing with lagging here. So we are not lagging at the Model Maniac Patreon. You can grab the Dog Dominator over there. Have a good time. I'm done. 2 hours on this show is long enough for me.
Oh, how dare you. Sky, establish the run. What can they get over there?
Yeah, we got our rankings. I'm probably updating almost on a daily basis at this point. We'll be going live full content in 2 weeks here. I'm excited to get Hawaii, at least one event in Hawaii. Sad we missed the Century, but ready to get that. And then, of course, the DP World Tour picks and bets on Mayo Media Network coming back in a couple weeks as well.
Yeah, I appreciate Byron did not hype up Fantasy Golf Degenerates, which you can watch every week here on Mayo Media Network. Blickle, FTN, fantasy.com. What can they get over there?
Yeah, all the PGA ownership, NFL ownership, all that good stuff. We're gonna have contest sims this year for PGA, and then if you're interested in all the pick'em stuff over at Underdog, you can find me in my Discord doing all that good stuff. So easiest place to find anything from me is just through my Twitter at Alex Blickle 1.
All right, for Byron, Sky, and Blickle, I'm Pat Mayo. Smash the like on the way out. Turn on those notifications in case we start doing more of these. I actually thought this was a ton of fun. I hope you enjoyed it.